On the news tonight, Nigerian governors advises federal government to end CBN's financing of the nation's budget. Police train personnel in explosive ordinances and nuclear technique. Indian police detains Rahul Gandhi and dozens of opposition parliamentarians. Good evening, welcome to the major report. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Nigerian governors have urged the federal government to immediately end the Central Bank of Nigeria's financing of government budget expenditure as part of a coordinated effort to rescue the nation from fiscal collapse. The governors, who made the proposal at a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, also urged the government to convert the outstanding $19 trillion naira ways and means loans obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria to a 100-year bond with a proposed interest rate of 1 per 100. The governors lamented that the dollar exchange rate had deteriorated from 197 naira and 300 naira in the parallel market to 410 and 652 naira in the parallel market under the supervision of the Buhari government. Nigerians have called on the federal government and other stakeholders to always do the needful in their country before meddling into affairs of other countries. They made a call while speaking with OSBC News on the big brother nature of Nigerian government to the Niger Republic. Our reporter, Oluwatobiloba Odunuga, now brings details.
Affecting Nigeria as a nation, which includes economic downturn, insecurity, also strike, food insecurity and poverty, among others. Nigerians have condemned the big brother nature that Nigerian government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, have extended towards Niger Republic. It will be recalled that David Ondenye, a journalist, exposed the federal government actions on social media, after which the federal government came out recently to justify the reasons for purchasing 1.145 billion naira vehicles for Niger Republic. According to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who noted that even though Nigerians have the right to question President Muhammadu Buhari, who approved the purchase, the president also has the prerogative to make his own assessment on situations and act in the interest of the country. Recall that the president had on the 22nd of February this year approved the release of the fund for the purchase of 10 units of Toyota Land Cruisers to Niger Republic as a policy of assisting the Nigerian government to strengthen capacity to deal with insecurity.
Well, Nigerians have a right to ask questions, but also the president has a responsibility to make an assessment of what is in the best interest of the country, and I cannot question that decision myself. This is not the first time that Nigeria as a country has provided intervention to our neighbors following an assessment that it is in the best interest of Nigeria to do so.
This action of the president has been generating reactions from Nigerians who feel President Buhari is neglecting his country and citizens to cater for the needs of another country. Speaking with OSBC News, respondents including Dr. Yinka Anjus and Mr. Mohammed Bamigbade maintained that President Muhammadu Buhari made so many promises to Nigerians, but none of the promises have been fulfilled. They lamented on the fact that the federal government keeps borrowing but failed to use the borrowed funds for the betterment of the country is regrettable.
I think we've been taken for a ride. Yours truly inclusive. When the PNB was coming in as the president, we felt that we've heard it, that the Messiah has come. Little did we realize one fact. It's very dangerous to trust people. We should never ever trust anybody again. We can only pray to God to give us who will be the best for us.
It is a shame because we have a lot of things that is battling us. Students are home for months. As on strike, then we have insecurity battling us. So nothing has been done to rectify all those issues. So it is a shame to witness such a thing.
They called on the president to first of all put his house in order before extending hands to fellowship to other African countries, adding that charity begins at home. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga, reporting for OSBC News.
Federal government and Google are collaborating to curb the excess of subversive YouTube channels which are used to spread hate and disinformation against the country. Minister of Information and Culture Laji Lai Mohammed, who stated this when a team of Google visited him in Abuja expressed delight that both the federal government and Google share the same concern on the reasonable and responsible use of the social media. And the minister said the government wants Google to look into how to tackle the use of private and unlisted YouTube channels and YouTube live streams by proscribed groups and terrorist organizations, adding that channels and email containing names and proscribed groups and their affiliates should not be allowed on Google platforms. Elijah Mohammed, who noted that Google is a platform of choice for the indigenous people of Biafra, implored the tech giant to deny IPOB the use of his platform for its acts of violence and destabilization. The need for Nigerian media establishment to improve on their content and in order to attract advertisers as well as retain and increase their audiences came to the fore at the workshop organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations for Media Executive in Osun State. The media workshop has the topic, what radio and TV stations need to stop doing, and do differently to attract media buying agencies and multinational organizations. OSBC reporter Omotayo Adebodo has the details.
The issue of insecurity in Nigeria is a recurring phenomenon that has become something of high concern to all citizens, which has caused them to question how the country arrived at such an unfriendly situation where no one is safe. It is evident that the insecurity level in Nigeria is escalating and now almost out of control as citizens of the country are exposed to an uncontrollable danger where everyone lives in fear of insurgency that might happen in the next moment. As a response to this rising insecurity, some state governors, including Samuel Atom of Benue State, have moved to adopt the idea of making available ammunition to state police and security agencies in order to provide adequate security for citizens of their states. Speaking with OSBC, Mr. Ahmed Nourin,
the economic climate in Nigeria must learn how to think out of the media workshop put together by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Osun State Chapter for Director Generals, General Managers, Marketing Directors of radio and televisions in the state, tagged what radio and television stations need to start doing, stop doing, and do differently to attract media buying agencies and multinational organizations attracted the ooze in the broadcast media world in Osun State. Speaking on the focus of the workshop, the state chairman, Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, Mr. Ademola Adesoji, said that Osun State has previously been left out of yearly NIPR statistics of media usage in the state, but this has taken a turn on Osun State and has been included this year. He explained that the workshop would help media outlets trace their activities and receptions by users, which would help them to improve in areas which they are lagging behind.
We discovered that in Osun State, no radio and TV station in Osun State is included in this report, and which is currently affecting most of the radio and TV stations in Osun. So we felt, okay, as the Nigerian Subpopulation Osun State, we feel we can try to provide solutions to this by bringing the agency that do conduct this monthly reports, by bringing them down to Osun to see the radio and TV stations that we have in Osun State. And immediately after seeing it, let them present, showcase what they have, and let them come with the data, the facts and figures that they have, so that we'll be able to deliberate, align, and update what we have in Osun State.
In the same vein, the Director General of Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. Rashid Folarime, who appreciated the organizers of the event, noted that the workshop is coming at a time broadcast media organizations are being staved with high cost of diesels as well as other equipments needed for the smooth running of the industry. He maintained that any media organization that wants to remain in the business in the present economic climate in Nigeria must learn how to think out of the box to create content that would not only help in increasing and retaining the audience, but also help in attracting advertisers and multinationals to the organization.
We have brought down media planners and media buyers from Lagos for them to interact with our marketing staff. And not marketing staff of OSBC alone, and including those of other stations in Osun, so that we can know what we have been doing wrongly that we need to do rightly, and what we have been doing rightly that we need to sustain the tempo. And to a large extent, the data that has been read out shows that we're not doing badly, but we need to improve.
The workshop had in attendance the Chief Press Secretary of the State Government, Mr. Ismail Omekpidon, facilitators, directors from Osun State Broadcasting Corporations, and other media outlets and marketers in the state. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
Has projected a voter population of about 95 million for the 2023 general election in the country. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said this at an election security management training in Abuja organized by Nigeria Police Force for its agents and other security personnel ahead of the 2023 general election. According to Professor Yakubu, the figure was 20 million higher than the combined voter population of the 14 other West African countries in the sub-region. The agency also indicated that the election preparations, deployment, and implementation constituted the most extensive mobilization that could happen in a country. Following the security challenges confronting the nation, the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Usman, has appealed to Nigerians not to panic, assuring that the force was making efforts to tackle the menace. IGP Alkali, who was represented by the Assistant Inspector General of Police Federal Operations Force Headquarters, Abuja, Balachi Roma, spoke at the Police Mobile Force Training College in the Hills in Nasarawa during the graduation ceremony of 324 police personnel who were trained in explosive ordnance disposal, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear technique. He explained that the 324 personnel who were attached to the command of the Nigerian Police Force were trained to effectively perform improved explosive devices disposal. The police chief noted that the trainees has acquainted themselves with safety and security guardrails in EOD, CBRN operation, as well as the emerging global threat and mitigation strategies. Nigerians have urged the states and federal government to legalize and make available ammunition for state security agencies so as to ensure maximum safety of lives and property of citizenry amidst rising insecurity. This is against the backdrop of the call made by Benue State Governor Dr. Samuel Otom to give ammunition support to the establishment of state police. Akomolafea Yobami has details.
The issue of insecurity in Nigeria is a recurring phenomenon that has become something of high concern to all citizens, which has caused them to question how the country arrived at such an unfriendly situation where no one is safe. It is evident that the insecurity level in Nigeria is escalating and now almost out of control as citizens of the country are exposed to an uncontrollable danger where everyone lives in fear of insurgency that might happen in the next moment. As a response to this rising insecurity, some state governors, including Samuel Otom of Benue State, have moved to adopt the idea of making available ammunition to state police and security agencies in order to provide adequate security for citizens of their states. Speaking with OSBC, Mr. Ahmed Nurin, the commander of Nigeria Hunters and Forest Security Service, Osun State Command, has advised the federal government and Osun State government to legalize provision of ammunition for state security agencies in order to curtail any insecurity situation that might surface in the nearest future.
This tension is too much for our security this time around. So I will support him that this is the time for the local security to carry AK-47.
Speaking in the same vein, a legal practitioner, Mr. Bukola Onifade, explains that although only federal government has the right to seek legalization of ammunition for state police, but in a security challenge like the one being faced in Nigeria, the state government can make move to seek legalization from the State House of Assembly.
That decision was best of us forwarded to the House of Assembly and let House of Assembly that a law of that particular state. If as a part to law, why? You know that the general believe that when there's a conflict between the federal law and the state law, the federal law will prevail, but we are talking about security of lives and properties there. So those are the exception to the rule or to the law. But you cannot just say yes without any backing of law and started no. It doesn't have that kind of right.
They, however, urged the federal government to put in place adequate security measures to guarantee maximum safety of the citizens. Ayobami Akomolafe, OSBC News.
The retired Inspector General of Police who died recently, Mr. Tafa Balogun, has been described as a brilliant police officer who introduced community policing as a strategy which might be enough to quench the menace of internal threat to security in Nigeria, like Boko Haram, kidnapping, and other insurgencies. Tafa Balogun died at the age of 75 and will be buried in his hometown, in Laorogun, Osun State, tomorrow. Details of the encomium showered on the Osun-born retired Inspector General of Police is captured in this report by Abdul Jalil Adebisi of our editorial desk.
Mustafa Adebayo Balogun, born on 25 August 1947 and died on the 4th August 2022, widely known as Kumau, was a Nigerian police officer, 11th Inspector General of Police from March 2002, but has to retire on charges of corruption in January 2005. Balogun attended the University of Lagos, graduating in 1972 with a BA in political science. He joined the Nigerian Police Force in May 1973. While a police officer, he gained a law degree from the University of Ibadan. After working in various positions around the country, he became principal staff officer to former Inspector General of Police Muhammad Gambo, then Deputy Commissioner of Police in Edo State, and then Commissioner of Police first in Delta State, and then in Rivers State and Abia State. He was appointed Assistant Inspector General of Police in AIG's Zone 1, Kano, the position he held when promoted to Inspector General of Police on 6 March 2002. In November 2001, as AIG, Balogun reassured the people that there were provisions to ensure the safety of businessmen in Nigeria through the outfit called Diplomatic Corps and Foreign National Protection Unit. Balogun became AIG in March 2002, replacing Musiliu Smith. He was responsible for overall police security during the April 2003 national elections, which were marred by reports of police abuses. In August 2003, Balogun presented a paper on Nigeria electoral violence and national security, in which he advocated improvements such as use of national identity card, mass education, electoral law reform, citizens' participation in politics, good governance, and establishment of a constitutional court. In December 2003, Mr. Balogun organized intensive security measures across Nigeria to ensure that there were no disturbances during the Commonwealth of Nations Summit, following various incidents in 2004, where reporters were beaten and their equipment damaged by policemen. Balogun made apologies and promised that those responsible would be punished. Towards the end of 2004, newspaper published allegations of corruption, asserting that Balogun had pocketed public money and taken bribes from politicians and criminals. This led to his retirement in January 2005. Mr. Tafa Balogun, as part of his achievement as Inspector General of Police, was the brainchild behind the creation of community policing in Nigeria as a way of strengthening internal security and providing intelligence information to the Nigerian police. It is a public opinion that if the lofty idea of community policing had been given a follow-up up to the activities of terrorism and banditry, may not escalate to what the country is witnessing now. Messages of condolences have been poured on the late Inspector General of Police. President Muhammadu Buhari condoled with family, friends, government, and people of Osun State over the death of the state-born former Inspector General of Police Mustafa Balogun, who hailed from Ila-Orangun, Osun State. He also mourned with the Nigerian Police Force, an institution he said Balogun spent the better part of his life serving. President Buhari's condolence message is contained in a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, titled President Buhari mourns former IGP. Adesina said the president recalled that Tafa Balogun, during his tenure as IGP, did his utmost to ensure that the police reform his statutory responsibilities under a democratic dispensation, and his penchant for boosting the morale of officers and men in the force has been acknowledged by those who served under him. Similarly, Governor Adigboyega Oyetola mourned the former Inspector General of Police, Tafa Balogun, who died recently at the age of 75. Osun State Governor, in a condolence message to the Honorable of Ila, Abu Wahab Oyedotun, former Osun State Governor, Chief Adebisi Akande, the immediate family and friends of Mr. Balogun, the Nigerian Police Force, and the people of Ila Onagun, where the late IGP hailed from. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary Ismail Omepidam, the governor also noted the contribution of the late retired police officer, saying his input contributed in no small measure to nation's security during his years of service in the force, including when he served as the IGP between 2002 and 2005. The governor also described Balogun as a true patriot and respected community leader who made notable contributions to the development of his community and humanity. Tafa Balogun will be buried tomorrow. Abdul Jalil at DBC, OSBC News.
A staff of Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, OSBC, Mr. Tajuddin Oyeniyi, popularly known as Ojingolo, is dead. Mr. Oyeniyi died at the age of 42 years after protracted illness. He joined the services of Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, OSBC, in 1993 as an audio officer. Until his death, Mr. Oyeniyi worked as audio officer with Iwo Reality Radio Vision Services, RTS Iwo. He survived by wife, children, aged mother, sisters and brothers, among others. But while the remains of Mr. Tajuddin Oyeniyi, alias Ojingolo, has been interred today in Osogbo, according to Islamic injunction. Now, welcome to our sports segment. Nine-time African champions Super Falcons of Nigeria dropped 7 places in the latest women ranking released by the Federation of International Football Association FIFA today. Omotayo Adebodun bring details.
And Ruth Uzoro have qualified for the women's long jump final at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. Brume hit automatic qualification mark, leaping a distance of 6.81 meters on her second attempt to safely make it to the final. Also, Uzoro booked a spot in the final, jumping a mark of 6.59 meters to finish joint 7th overall alongside England Abigail Irozuru. Uzoro qualifies for the final of the long jump event at a major championship at 3rd in 2022. Recall that world champion Tobi Amuson qualified for the final of the women's 100-meter hurdle. After breezing through in her semi-final heat, she will be back on Sunday for the final and will hope to defend her 2018 Commonwealth Games title. In the meantime, Super Falcons of Nigeria dropped 7 places from 39th to 46th position in the latest FIFA Coca-Cola Women's World Ranking. The latest ranking published by FIFA's Women World Cup verified Twitter Andrew today. Despite dropping in the ranking, the Falcons remain number 1 in Africa. The team dropped may not be unconnected to their poor outing at the 2022 Women African Cup of Nations, where Brighton's record sales surpassing Ben White's £50 million move to Arsenal last summer. A Barcelona Academy graduate, Cucurella, has won 1 senior cap for Spain and played for the under-23 side that won silver at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Meanwhile, 19-year-old Chelsea defender Levi Colwill has joined Brighton on a season-long loan. The England under-19 international spent last season on loan at Huddersfield and scored an own goal in the 1-0 championship playoff final defeat by Nottingham Forest. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
Let's now join Onyinye Nwachi for stories from around the world.
Police have detained dozens of parliamentarians from the opposition Congress Party, including key leader Rahul Gandhi, as they attempted to march to the president's house and the prime minister's residence to protest soaring food and fuel prices and an increase in the goods and services tax. The police also detained hundreds of party supporters in the country capital, New Delhi, to prevent them from joining the protesting leaders, many of whom wore black. Several women protesters cooked food outside the Congress Party headquarters, using wood for the fire, saying that cooking gas prices have risen beyond the means of poor and middle-class families. In New Delhi, police began barricading the party headquarters and homes of its leaders, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, members, and taking them away in buses and other vehicles. Elsewhere, the Russian forces at Europe's largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine are employing terror tactics by using the site to launch rockets attack on civilians. According to reports, Russia controls the Zaporizhzhia plant and surrounding areas close to Ukrainian-held territory, and the Western officials have sounded the alarm about Russia's tactics there. Reports has it that the United Kingdom Defense Ministry said Russia was using the area to launch attack, taking advantage of the protected status of the nuclear power plant to reduce the risk of overnight attacks from Ukrainian forces. But a Russian-installed official in the region told newsmen that Ukrainian forces are using Western-supplied weapons to attack the plant. Oyechi watching OSBC News.
That's the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Abdul Jalil at DBC. Babatunde Bolatito is my name, saying good night.